excellence is rooted in honoring God, personal growth, and serving others with integrity, right? That Colossians verse, whatever you do, right? But perfection is driven by fear of failure. Perfection is insecurity. Perfection is the desire to control the outcomes, right? And that stems from pride. It stems from fear
Wow.
of disappointing others, right?
Wow.
And then you throw in performance. Like performance is being driven by comparison, what we talked about. Performance is competition. Performance is the need to prove worth through achievements or recognition. No. Excellence embraces effort. Excellence embraces learning. Excellence embraces grace, right? It's about doing your best and trusting God with the results. Perfection, it struggles with these rigid expectations, self-criticism, self-doubt, fear of man, fear of not measuring up, fear of failure, right? Where performance, right? We prioritize outside appearances over inner growth. We prioritize other things that leads to what? Burnout and superficial success, which leads to absolute misery. Jordan, you and I have seen this, right?
Yeah.
What does excellence lead to? Fulfillment. Excellence leads to growth. Excellence leads to joy. It acknowledges our human limitations, right? For my friend who was talking about perfection, excellence acknowledges that we are limited, but we rely on God's strength. Whereas perfection, it leads to frustration. It leads to exhaustion. It leads to feelings of inadequacy because perfection is unattainable. It says it in the Bible. All of us who fall short of the glory of God, right? And then performance, we look for validation. I need somebody else to tell me that I'm doing what God's called me to do. I need that pat on the back, remember, from our boss or from our superior or from our wife. But that costs you something. And I say all the time, if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. It costs you your authenticity, right? From a spiritual perspective, like excellence seeks to glorify God by stewarding the talents and opportunities faithfully, knowing that his grace is sufficient, knowing that it aligns with humility and trust, right? What do we say? We talked earlier, Matthew 25. We heard that scripture, well done, good and faithful. Of all the words he could have used, it wasn't the most anointed. It wasn't the most educated. It wasn't the most articulate. It wasn't who had the biggest ministry or who had the most salvation or who had the biggest platform. No, it was faithfulness, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole topic of this call. Faithfulness leading to fruitfulness. But what does perfection do? Perfection denies the sufficiency of God's grace, implying that our personal effort can achieve what only God can. That's crazy talk. Right? His word says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. Right? But in performance, like that prioritizes people's opinions over God's approval. Again, that's crazy. And then we fall into the trap of what? Human praise. Galatians 1:10. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Right? So how we pursue excellence without falling into perfectionism or performance, this is how we do it. We work with purpose. Everything that we do is on purpose. It's on mission. That's why I said, like, take a true examination of yourself and practically think, okay, what can I do to work on purpose? What can I do to focus on glorifying God and not pleasing people? How can I embrace grace? How can I accept my limitations and let God's strength work through my weakness? How can I prioritize my growth? What areas can I start to just, too many people dabble in discipline. I'm not a dabbler. Jordan's not a dabbler, right? We have to celebrate our progress, not perfection, and just rest in God's love. And remember that your worth is not based on what you do, but it's who you are. I like to say he's not looking for performers. He's looking for sons and daughters, right? And Ephesians 2, right? For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not from yourselves. It's a gift. It's not by works. So it's not about striving. It's not about performing, right? But when we strive for excellence, we honor God, we grow in our faith, and we avoid those traps of perfectionism and performance.